Hey friends, happy Friday, Good Friday, the 7th of April. Blessing to be with you. I'm Father Bill Hill, priest at Holy Spirit Catholic Community in Rock Springs, Wyoming. I'll give you a reflection on the readings. They're linked below. When I'm done, click the link, read the readings prayerfully, and then turn off the screen, spend some time with God. Long readings today, but still, if you can give God a couple of moments of silence and do some reflection and prayer, that'd be a really good thing. You can see that I'm still shooting these in Lent. Purple is up. Lent ends Holy Thursday afternoon, and now we're into the 3 holy days. Generally, the color for today is red. And it's a pretty somber, pretty spare day. Don't forget, especially if you're catching this in the morning, that for Catholics, Good Friday is a day of fasting and of abstaining from meat as just a simple form of penance to be united with the church in the sufferings of Christ. The readings today are long, so God willing, I'm going to keep this kind of brief. The first reading is Isaiah the prophet, and it's the 4th oracle of the suffering servant. It's a chapter in length, a couple of pages in our lectionary. If I were to give you a place to pray, certainly as you pray it, you'll probably think of Jesus and his own sufferings, especially today on Good Friday. But pay attention to the second half of this, as we also hear promises and God who will care for the servant who is suffering. And it may not look exactly like we might expect the blessings and the care, but also the way that God has brought new life and abundant life to so many through the sacrificial love of Jesus Christ. This psalm, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. It's a psalm of absolute trust and obedience, that we are indeed out of control, no matter what kind of illusions we give or how we might navigate this life. And whenever that curtain gets pulled back and we see, boy, we're just that millimeter away from being out of control, this is a good psalm to pray, just entrusting ourselves to God. Second reading is the letter to the Hebrews. And what I especially key in on is towards the second half of this. There's one in the first half. Jesus sympathizing with our weaknesses because he's done everything that we have. He's experienced the weaknesses and the fallibility of the human flesh just without sin, right? So Jesus knows this life. And so, especially if we're struggling with just being in the flesh, to be mindful of Jesus in the flesh today, sympathizing with our weaknesses. And then the second is towards the bottom half of this, about Jesus who learns obedience from what he suffers. Mysterious words, right? And we speak often of the perfect obedience of Jesus, but also appreciating that there was and is learning that's happening there as well. And even as we are not perfect in our obedience, perhaps we see it as ways that we are as well, learning obedience like the Son. I don't have a prayer place for you in relation to the Gospel of John. It's the passion story, the suffering and death of Jesus in John's Gospel. I just encourage you, I appreciate you may be having to go to work or school or other sorts of things, but as you're able to, just prayerfully, lovingly read this through and see what stirs inside of you and turn to the Lord in your own prayer. Okay? So, I'm keeping it short so that you have plenty of time for readings today. Read those readings prayerfully. Guess I didn't say this. If you're here in Rock Springs, we will be doing a noon liturgy here at SCM, 12 noon. 3 o'clock, kicking off a Divine Mercy Novena, 7:30 over at OLS. The youth are putting on Shadow Stations of the Cross. Different ways for us to pray on this day. And now a way to pray, read the readings prayerfully. God bless y'all.